Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Memberships are now open. Shout out to the very first member of the channel, JD05, aka Josh with the downward angle. Big ups to you. Thank you very much for subscribing. There will be a members video dropping either later on today or first thing Monday, and then moving forward, as again, when more members come in, we'll do more and more members only content, but there will be a lot more content going throughout the week. Okay, this is probably going to be a very quick weekend wrap, purely because number one, I've got somewhere that I need to be in about half an hour, and two, I haven't had access to half the fights that took place. We know there was the DAZN card, there was a PBC card as well. It wasn't shown on Fight TV, wasn't shown on the PBC YouTube channel. I can't even find one of my sort of streams for it that I normally get after the events. They don't seem to have it either, so I'm at a bit of a dead end on that one. But as and when I get the opportunity to source a bit more throughout the week, that might be something I'll bring up at a later date. Also, Joshua Franco versus Kazuto Ioka is another stream that I can't seem to find anywhere. I'm hoping that it might be on Amazon Prime. So if I use my VPN, I'll take a look just to see if I can maybe scour it from that, the same way I did the last Taraji fight that I've watched, but I'm not sure. So unfortunately, all I've really got to talk about is what occurred in the Matchroom card. Now, if I'm going to be totally honest, I didn't watch the whole thing. I thought the card itself was going to be a bit of a shit card, if I'm totally honest. Nothing appealed to me from like the prelims all the way to the undercard up to the main event. I didn't really think it was a great week. Now, one thing I will say, I only watched two matches in their entirety. I've seen highlights of some others, but I've only watched two, so I'm only going to speak about those two. Now, to be fair, in my basis picks video, I did forget to predict on Adam Kownacki and Joe Cosumano, aka Giuseppe Cosumano, but I did leave a comment in my description basically saying who I thought would win, and I put down that I thought Cosumano would win via 8th round stoppage. I got it spot on. I don't know how that happened. I don't usually get it spot on, even if I get methods right. But yeah, ultimately, Adam Kownacki been washed for a while, and I left a comment on one of Chris Andre's videos earlier on today, and I've said it previously, but it's on his video, so you guys can go and look for that video he just put out earlier on. Great video, by the way, make sure you check it out. But on there, I basically said that Adam Kownacki needs to uppercut the head off of whoever stopped him from taking the Anthony Joshua fight back in 2019. That he was never going to be an upper echelons level guy in the division. He just took too much punishment from the start up until now, so he was never going to get there, and they cost him $7 million, because that was the Jarrell Miller purse for that fight. It was $7 million. He could have got that. Instead, he fought Chris Arreola for a couple $100,000. That's me. So yeah, he must be wallowing in a lot of depression at this point in time. Now, he's lost 4 fights on the bounce because he did get stopped by Cosumano. However, I do have to admit that was an amazing fight to watch. Adam Kownacki gets dropped in the first round, right at the end of the round, and you think, oh, like, this is about to be over now. His chin just can't hold up. He hasn't got it anymore. End of that round, say it was a long count, might have been, I don't know. He goes to the corner, they get the doctor to check him over, they let him out for the second round. It looks like he starts to take some really heavy punches, and they're screaming in the commentary booth, now the ref needs to jump in and stop this. All of a sudden, Adam Kownacki comes back. He starts digging deep. He digs to the depths of his soul, and he starts actually hurting Cosumano with body shots, head shots. He starts raining his combinations, and Cosumano's tired, and it's a constant back and forth trade throughout the rounds up until the 7th round, where I think Adam Kownacki gets hit and it was something which basically just takes his equilibrium away, and he's basically on Queer Street for the entire duration of that round, surviving, still throwing but surviving. And then, you know, you've got Sugar Hill in the corner saying, look, if I can't see what I need to see in this next round, I'm gonna stop it. Next round, boom, he takes a very heavy backhand, falls onto the ropes. It almost looks like he turns to and runs away to one of the other ropes, and at that point you can see Sugar Hill in the corner waving the towel like it's over. The ref he's either not seen him or he's ignored him. Even the ringside doctors jumped up on the apron. Ref, stop it. The ref is still not paying attention, to the point where the towel even now comes in and the ref basically jumps. It's almost like he jumps onto Cosumano's back and then jumps back, and then Cosumano all of a sudden, it's like he felt the ref tap and thought, oh, okay, this must be over. So he's turned to go and run, and the ref still doesn't even go to help Adam Kownacki. I don't remember the name of the ref, but it was a poor performance. On like, that fight needed to be stopped 15 seconds before it was, because there was no reason for him to take the rest of that after they had already said the round before, you know. Now don't get me wrong, I like when someone normally like falls, you beat them down till they fall, but in that instance he was a beaten man. And it's not just the fact he was a beaten man, but the corners waved the towel, the ringside doctors jumped on, said wave it off. You're supposed to stop it at that point. So right now, it's not even in your judgment to say, can he still carry on? Can he come back? They're telling you it's now needs to be stopped. We are taking that decision out of your hands. And I just thought it was a really poor performance from the ref in that instance. But the fight was a great fight to watch. And I can't hate on, you know, sort of DAZN or Matchroom or any of the others when you get one of these fights that you think, oh, well, it's a nothing fight with a quote unquote nobody. I know who both of the guys were, but that's not really a big fight to anyone else, but it's a fight that delivered. So I'm sure you could put that on, you know, on Twitter, on YouTube clips or whatever, and that might entice people to go and check out the fight. Moving on to Edgar Berlanga and Jason Quigley. Now, when this fight first came out, I was one of the first people that gave Eddie Hearn stick, both online on Twitter and on my video, saying this was a terrible fight to make. Jason Quigley is not even a super middleweight. He's a pumped up middleweight basically. It's nothing except a way to, I guess, give Edgar Berlanga maybe this show reel highlight knockout, and then, you know, move him on to bigger and better things. But I still wanted a fight that was semi decent. And Matchroom, the one issue they have with their matchmaking is they don't match people up to the strengths of the A side. What I mean by that, I'm not talking about putting them against people that they're bound to beat, but if you've got someone like Edgar Berlanga, power puncher, someone that is, you know, he's quite athletically built or whatever, but he isn't the fastest of people, doesn't cut off the ring well, you know, or things like that. You put him in the ring with a guy that's a boxer, a pure boxer that's going to move about, that's quick, that's nimble. Like, so ultimately the engagement is not going to be that great. Now, yes, obviously you need learning fights throughout your career or whatever, but if you're going to try and showcase someone, no, you put them in there against someone who doesn't move that well, who usually tries to stand their ground and wants to basically have a scrap. You find someone that's maybe not the biggest of punchers, but that's the kind of person you give for that show reel. Then in the next fight, you give them that improvement person, or the person that is the stylistic nightmare for them, not on their debut, because ultimately he looked pretty, I'm not going to say he looked super poor throughout the entire fight, but it's like he has very little chance of making adjustments. He made a few adjustments right towards the end of the fight, but by that time it was pretty much too late, and really that was only because Jason Quigley got tired. So yeah, his overall boxing brain is not of a high standard. I've said for time, I think he's trash at a world level. You know, in terms of the mediocre fights, cool, but I thought that main event was going to be trash. It wasn't particularly entertaining. There were some competitive moments, but ultimately Quigley got dropped 4 times and you couldn't stop him. This is a guy that's again a blown up middleweight, but you couldn't stop him. So all of that together, like there's not really much to be high on, apart from the potential Berlanga versus Munguia fight. That's a fight I can get behind, because that stylistically is a perfect fight for both guys, to be honest. Jaime Munguia is a, you know, a stylistic pressure fighter, but smart pressure, or even you could say possibly a pressure in boxer puncher. Edgar Berlanga is a boxer puncher, economic with his work, doesn't throw a lot, so Jaime will have the work rate, but Berlanga's definitely got the extra power, plus he's the naturally bigger guy. So ultimately you've got some dynamics in there, but Jaime obviously also knows how to manage and change his output and actually work his way through rounds. So it could be you know, a good matchup in the future. So I look forward, if that can be made, to that being made. I didn't see Adames versus Williams. I saw how it was stopped. The stoppage looked premature to me, because Williams was still kind of like trading back, although he didn't look super engaged or super on it at the time. But I haven't seen the whole fight, so I don't know how that particularly worked out. And also, again, Joshua Franco, I thought that he would beat Ioka in this one based on work rate, similar to the first fight, but I did say that Ioka was the person who could make the most adjustments. Ultimately, from what I've heard, he did that. He won 115, 113, and I think 116, 112 twice on the cards. So congrats to Kazuta Ioka. Another championship for him, WBA. Let's see if he goes to try and do a unification with Junto Nakatani. If he does, I don't think he's going to be holding on to that WBA belt for much longer, but he is one of the best in the game, and he deserves all the credit in the world. Subsequently, Joshua Franco is now retired from boxing at the age of 27. So the issues that he was having this week, whatever it was to do with obviously trying to weigh in and get on the scales, has clearly taken its toll on him. And unfortunately, that's the end of his journey. But look, he's had a good career for the little amount of time that he was around as well. So got a salute to him. But with that being said, again, I don't really have much more to contribute, unfortunately. I'm going to leave it there. If I get anything else from the fights previous, I'll just do a members only video, and you guys, whomever are members, can see that. But thank you very much. That's the weekend wrapped up, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.